Welcome to Powering Success, future-proofing your generator company, the go-to podcast for industry leaders in the generator installation and service business. Here we dive into the strategies and innovations that keep your company ahead of the competition and bring you insights from top experts and successful entrepreneurs. Let's get started and power up your potential. Now here's your host, marketing guru John Tedesco.
All right, our guest today is Rich Roman, a master electrician, model train aficionado, and owner of multiple businesses right here in New Jersey. Rich holds an engineering degree from NJIT and is a licensed electrical contractor. For over 20 years, his company, Roman Electric, has served homeowners and businesses across the Garden State. But that's not all. Rich's passion for model railroads began in the early 80s at a neighborhood train stop. Today, his company, Train Layouts, has grown into a full-fledged 6,000 square foot workshop and creates custom layouts for clients across the country. He's also become a personal friend, and yes, he installed the generator at my house. So without further ado, Rich, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, guys.
Welcome, Rich. Great to see you.
You too.
So let's just jump in and explain what your experience has been building your electrical business.
Well, it's been like any other business. It's been a long, hard road. You learn things the hard way, and you plow through them, and a lot of setbacks and a lot of things that you advance on. But we hung in there, and we're here today, and we can't really figure out what to do next. Whether we're to grow or not grow.
What got you into the business?
Well, when I was a kid, one of my neighbors was an electrical contractor, and I used to help them in the summers and do whatever they needed me to do. I was a helper for years, and I learned the trade that way, and continued working with them throughout high school and college. And when I was done with college, I had enough time to in the trade to warrant my trade background or hours for that are required for licensing, and I just went ahead and got my license after college.
That's good.
Yeah, nice. And what was it? What was it like transitioning into generator work?
It was a nice little added thing. I had my customers always asking me to install generators, and early on, like I would say pre 2012, people didn't really. It was hit or miss with the generators. It wasn't really a booming market. So every now and then, a customer would call me and say, "Hey, I got a generator. They had a sale here, they had a sale there, and I'd like you to install it for me." So that's how it started for us. We learned a lot on their installations, and I guess right around 2012 we decided to get coupled with one of the major manufacturers, and the one that we chose to align ourselves with is Kohler.
Okay.
So and now we're just Kohler sales and service. It's been a pretty good ride for us.
Yeah.
So it's a nice added thing for our company. Our guys enjoy installing them. We have a streamlined process. We have an area in the shop dedicated for just the materials that we need for those installations, and it's a good thing for us.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what made you choose Kohler over Generac? What makes
Well,
Kohler
you know
so
what?
better?
They're all great. Everybody makes a great generator, so it's hard to say why. But I on my research, I noticed that they build their generators, the motors, a little bit different than others. They have a heavier crankshaft, which when it spins at a certain RPM, it has a tighter center of gravity. They have these things on the heads called lifters, and the Kohler brand has hydraulic lifters. All the other brands seem to have solid lifters. The hydraulic lifters are the same ones that you have in your car, and they don't have to adjust. They just work on oil pressure.
Okay.
The ones that are solid, they need a maintenance valve adjustment from time to time. So that's one of the reasons that I decided to align with Kohler. I just like the idea of the advanced motor design, and also the generators themselves the electricity that they produce, they promoted at the time that it was good for sensitive electrical equipment. And that was also an appealing thing. So they just had a good product.
And how would you compare like Kohler's to a Generac or a Briggs and Stratton like today, like current?
You know what?
current day?
Today, I would say I don't think you could buy a bad generator. From
Yeah.
time to time, I do have a customer again that says, "Hey, you know, I bought this Generac." They don't even call them generators anymore; they call them Generacs, right?
Yeah.
They really stole the market share. So good for
Yes.
them.
Yeah, sure.
You know, they bought this Generac or they brought this Briggs Stratton product,
Mhm.
and we've installed them, and I don't mind installing those either. There's a lot of good things. There's not really any bad things.
Mhm.
Just different ways to install. You follow the instructions. Like these, every one of these manufacturers had paid um, engineers, smarter people than us to design these things. So it's really a nice thing to see how they're all doing them.
Yeah, right. Well, we like our Kohler out in the yard, so thanks for helping us with
Yeah,
that.
no problem. I have plenty of parts, plenty of backup, and I hope you never need them.
Yeah.
I hope not.
So
I always look forward to it working.
yeah. Well, it's few and far between. I don't get too many texts from you anymore. You get a couple of times like, "Yay, it's on."
Well, when the power goes out for a day, and it's kicking along, I'll shoot you another text.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
So, if a young electrician who wants to get into the generator business, what advice would you give?
Just do it. Don't be afraid of it. A lot of times there are contractors out there who they end up going down a specific road and they I don't do generators, I don't do that, or I don't do that.
Mhm.
And honestly, the fact that I never said no to an opportunity is one of the reasons that we are where we are today. When I see some of my other competitors struggling, you know, a lot of my competitors are my friends. So it's like I see them, they say, I'm slow, I'm this and that. We're never slow. We've never been slow.
Mm-hmm.
There's never been a time that it's been like, oh, okay, what are we going to do this week?
Well, that's great.
Yeah,
So
that
it's
is good.
always, it's a
Um,
good thing. You got to be diverse. You got to be involved in
Yeah, what makes you
everything
stand
out
out
there.
from some of the other maybe generator companies in the area?
Say that again.
What makes you stand out from maybe some of the other
Well,
companies
we're
that
we're
are
not
similar?
we're not so big that we don't care, right? So any one of the generators that we install or any one of my electrical customers, they typically have my own personal phone number and they can get in touch with me in an emergency and they know how to handle that, right? If it's an emergency, it's an emergency. You feel desperate, you want to be able to call somebody. And I have enough support where I could get guys out right away. So it's not like you're going to be waiting for weeks of service. You know, we want to get there right away. If something isn't working, that's a reflection on something we did, whether it's our fault or not. You know, we want, you know, we take so much pride in what we do. Is like we want that thing to work. You just paid a lot of money for something to try to not have a problem. And if you have a problem after you did that, it's embarrassing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So you know,
Yeah.
it's not easy,
Mm-hmm.
but we like doing it. Feels
And
good.
you're also an inspector.
I
right?
am.
So
Yeah.
definitely, I want to talk about that because
Sure.
what kind of things do you see out in the field that
Oh,
are interesting, maybe concerning? Let's talk a
yeah.
little bit about what can really help the listeners that are listening to this.
Well, don't ever be afraid of the electrical inspector because he might just be like you, right out there doing the same thing. So I had
Sure.
the opportunity to get my electrical inspector's licenses and apply them as such. I started out as just filling in for a couple of towns here and there. Then some opportunities came up. You know, Chester Township offered me a job. They said, "We know you have the licenses. You got to come and help us. We need somebody." And then I took on a couple other towns. So I dedicate my time 2 days a week to exclusively electrical inspecting. So the three towns I work in are Verona, Roseland, and Chester Township.
Okay.
And I'm my role is electrical subcode official and electrical inspector. So
Mm-hmm.
I'll review the plans that come in. I'll approve the permits that need to go along with the jobs, and then I'll actually be the guy that goes out and does the physical inspection.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, we see a lot of we see more good work than not. You know, we're a licensed trade, so a lot of these guys out there are pretty sharp. You know, and then we see once in a while we see some stuff that is a reminder of why we are inspectors. You know,
Mm.
somebody did something that wasn't really, you're right. They used the wrong size wire. They had a circuit breaker that was too big. They didn't install something in a manner that it was safe to be installed. So, you know, then you got to knock the job and get them to correct it, or get somebody in who knows how to correct it. So it's an interesting position to take the experience, you know, all the good things that I've learned throughout the years and apply them out to the field.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it.
Yeah. Have you ever talked to any of these electricians that have done this stuff that you need fixed and adjusted? And I mean,
Yeah,
are they new or they out of college?
I like to always leave it. If I fail somebody, I like to leave a failure with a smile. You know, it's not like, I got to fix it. You know, I'm not that guy. I'm the guy that, hey man, you know, you really, this is what the code says. This is how you got to do it. And we
Okay.
correct it and kind of move forward. I think that's the best approach that works for me.
Okay.
I know that the myth out there about inspectors, and if there's a way I could change it, I want to do that.
Right.
You know, don't be afraid of an inspector. It's a good thing that we're out there.
Okay. That's good. That's good. I did want you to tell that one small world story, the time you
Sure.
ran into Chris Schaefer.
Yeah, that was pretty funny, huh? So I went
Yes.
in for a reinspection. Unfortunately, his job was, I had to fail it for a couple of minor things. He needed a strap here, a strap there. It wasn't perfect. So I came, and fortunately, he was there. He was on site and he's listening to something. He has his phone on and I'm listening. And I said, I must have said something like, "Hey, John, have anything good to say?" Or, you know, I'm supposed to be on that seminar too. It was something like that. And then it was sort of at the end of the seminar. Maybe it ended at 2. Maybe it was like 1:50 when I arrived.
Mm-hmm.
So after he logged off, he and I had a real nice conversation about the generator market, and you know how it really is its own thing. I mean, guys, back to what you asked me before, Danielle. I mean, if somebody really wants to just go down and be a generator installer, I mean, there's plenty of companies that only do that.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of market out there. That's not where we want to be. We don't want to only install generator. I could do that in a heartbeat if we wanted to.
Yep.
Sure.
But we just have the business that we have today. Just, I don't know, I feel like it'd be doing a disservice to my other customers that we've developed throughout the years that maybe aren't generator customers.
Yeah, sure.
But I'd say 50% of my clientele, they are generator customers.
Mm-hmm.
Or they've added generators throughout the years. So when
Yeah.
you get coupled with a good customer, you know, they end up with doing a renovation in the kitchen. They end up putting in a pool, hot
Right.
tub, you know
Right,
how
hot
it is,
tub.
right? You know, all these little things. And then, you know, then the generator comes and then this comes and they move. And then they liked all the stuff they have in this house. They want it in that house. So a lot of it's repeat business.
Yep.
But the
Yeah,
generator,
for sure.
it's a nice thing. It's a solid opportunity for anybody who wants to pursue it and grow. It's definitely in demand. There's not enough guys out there who really understand, like, you know, the Kohler product. I went out to the factory, I got trained, I put the time in, I got the certifications, and
Yeah.
you know, even with the Generac guys. I mean, I have friends. I just call them because I know that they're trained. I said, "Hey, do you have this?" I have a local guy in Chester who I'll just go into his garage. You say, "Yeah, just go up here, get this controller you need, and this is how you configure it." And you know, he does the same with the Kohler stuff. So you kind of got to work together out there with people you feel comfortable with.
Yep.
Even though we're in the same trade, we're not really, you know, competitors at the end of the day. You know, if you can't sit down and hang out and, you know, have a beer
That's
and
true.
be happy, you know,
That's true.
and have a conversation, and
Yeah. There's a lot of competition out there, though. This kind of business.
there's a lot of competition in my opinion, and earlier in my years I was a little intimidated by that, but now that I'm at the point where it's like, okay, you know, I'm almost done with my career. You know, I want to be friends with everybody.
Yeah.
You know, because
Right.
maybe I want to go and work for that successful kid that's starting his business. generator business, and I say, hey, I can help you.
Yeah.
Help you get over the hole. I need an easy job now.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
You
a
know?
good plan.
Send me out. Send me out and
You're
fix
at a
that
different
thing.
stage.
Yeah, different phases. It's funny
Yeah.
how that happens because when you're young, you're just like young and stubborn and cocky, and
Yep.
Yeah.
it's
You want
hard
to
to
rush
say
through
no.
it
And
and
you want it all.
job
And
after job after
You're
job. Yeah.
aggressive.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the snowball starts going. It's like, oh, this snowball's getting too big, and it's hard to find the help you need. And when you
Yeah.
get to that comfortable
Yeah.
level, you got good help, you got good people. Everybody's just in a good spot. You got that good customer base. You're not searching for that phone to ring off the hook.
Yeah, sure. And there's so
It's
much
a good place to be in life.
Yeah, there's so
You
many
built
extra
a
pieces of
successful
that.
company.
Yeah.
Right. And then you have to take care of your employees and you
Yeah.
have to incentivize them and keep them
Yeah.
happy, and that's not easy to do. A lot of our
Oh.
clients have lost technicians to go and do their own business. Like, oh, I can
Yeah.
do this on my own. They go and do
Right.
it
Sure.
themselves.
Sure.
You got to
Yeah,
keep them happy.
I'm guilty. It's happened.
Yeah.
And I almost sometimes it makes me proud too to say, hey, I got this guy, I got him started. He learned with me. I mean, ultimately, every single one of those situations that happened to me, they're still my friends.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, with what happened with my leg is like they're getting wind of it. Is like, do you need help? Do you need help? Are you okay?
Good.
Yeah. So it's kind of a nice thing. It's like, whoa,
Yeah.
whatever happened, and now, they're willing to give up some of their time to make sure that we
Nice.
keep moving forward. It's a nice.
That's nice.
Yeah,
thing.
sure.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Go ahead.
John. Okay. So, backup battery systems.
Backup battery energy
Yeah.
battery systems, or otherwise known as energy storage systems.
Yes.
It's up and coming. It's up and coming.
Yes.
The battery designs are getting better and better. They're lasting longer and longer, but that's only a temporary thing. Those batteries will only produce power for that amount of time that they're designed to supply for the usage. They have a long way to go.
Okay.
It's a very specific field as well. There's 2 articles in the code. I believe it's 406, and there's another one for batteries alone. Matter of fact, I got my book right here.
Nice.
Let me see. All right, so we got 480 is storage batteries. There's a whole section in the code on there, and there's a whole nother one at energy storage systems. It's Article 706, and they're very, very specific. Lots of labeling needs to be done on the buildings. They need to have like disconnecting switches. The reason for that is for the, God forbid you have a fire or something. You want to make sure that the fire department knows. They come up to your electrical meter and it says, hey, there's another storage system in here. If you go in, you think you pull the meter, they turn the power off. They want to make sure that the dwelling is safe for them to enter as well. So this new technology that's coming on, they really added a lot of safety things for others, which that's probably the right thing to do. There's a long way to go with that, but it's interesting to see it up and coming.
Yeah. A lot of guys are installing the battery backups along with the generators. So generator kicks on, charges the battery takes over, and then kind of back and forth.
Yeah, they work back and forth. It's actually it's a nice thing if you get it working perfect.
Yeah, sure. If you can afford that. I know in Massachusetts they're giving it like tax incentives are like 30-40 grand.
Yep, and they couple it with solar too.
Yes.
Solar.
But the problem with the solar is utility doesn't provide power. They have these rapid shutdown inverters that don't energize your home anymore or power the batteries. But the generator is nice. You could at least power the generator. The generator could power the batteries, and then they could give the generator a break for a little bit. So that's the ultimate.
It a bit there.
Yeah. You need the whole system. You got to use everything. Might as well put a windmill in there too, right?
Yes.
So that's a complete package: solar, generator, battery storage system, windmill.
Okay.
And then we talk about the treadmill before.
Yeah.
There's a way we could reverse wire that as long as she keeps running, we can make that work too.
That's funny.
True story.
Nice. All right. Model trains.
Oh yeah, here we go.
Tell us about this business, train layouts.
Train
who's
layouts,
and who your typical clients are too.
Yeah. We're very fortunate. We got into this. I got into this as a kid. I was offering a service, building these custom model railroads for this company. People come in and buy all this stuff, and they want to keep it up year round, and they liked it around the tree. But then they decided they wanted more, right? So they wanted a permanent display, and one thing led to another. So I was doing this with the electrical contractor I worked for. I was really close with his son, who also worked for him. He's a couple years older than me, and we were both into the trains. So we would go and work for his dad during the day, and at night we would moonlight and build these train layouts to make up a couple extra. So it's just weird the way the whole thing transitioned. I tried to get out of this after I graduated from college, and I couldn't. They dragged me back in, and one thing led to another. I was very fortunate with some of the clientele I got to work for. One of the clients I worked for, his name is Mandy Patinkin. He was in The Princess Bride. He was the guy with the sword that said, "I'm so and so," and I can. Anyways, he was kind of a good turning point in my career. Gave me a lot of confidence. Just having the credibility of having worked with him. He wanted to see my business grow as well. I have some tremendous friends all over the country who supported what I was doing pretty heavily. They wanted to see the business stay and grow, and they wanted me to help them with their railroads, because what I do in a year, they wouldn't be able to do in a lifetime, because it's just such a time-consuming hobby. And the hobbies are never over. You say, oh, you get into a hobby, shouldn't you do this yourself? Yeah, but once you have means to afford to have somebody help you with it, it's still their project, because I'm so personal with them. I always remind them, say, I'll do whatever you want. This is your project. I'm just the guy doing the work to get it done. So I found that I've made a lot of people happy and realized their dreams that they would have not have realized if I didn't get involved.
How long does it take you to finish a project?
Well, some of these projects that we're doing now, they take anywhere from 1,000 to 5,000 man hours to complete. Wow. Yeah.
One thing that fascinated me too when I was there, it's such an electrical engineering marvel. These train layouts.
I've learned more about. So we could go back to teaching that. Let's go back to not the young electrical contractor. Let's go back to the kid that's thinking about even getting into this trade. I mean, they need wire train set.
Yeah.
That's what happened to me. I learned, I honestly understood circuits and stuff like that by experimenting on model trains.
And how old were you when you started doing that?
12.
You were 12. Who got you into that at that
12.
age?
12. I think I got a little race car set when I was a kid, or I got some little like Tyco train set, and Christmas one year, and I always liked it. I always wanted more, but couldn't afford it. You know what I mean? So there was this train store right up the road. I'd ride my bicycle there as a kid, right? And they were open in the summer. It would be me and just somebody working in the store. And I was there so much. They're like, "Hey, kid, make yourself useful." They gave me a paintbrush. I would just dust the trains all day, and I'd leave with like 2 pieces of track.
Yeah.
Right. So I earned it.
You
I was
love
like,
that, I'm sure.
That's So if I bring another train home, my wife will kill me right now. But I mean, I am a gatherer. I'm a train hoarder. Not ashamed to say it.
You better get a place for that train set, or you're out.
Yeah. Well, my office. You see my office. It's
now,
it's
huge.
So another thing we got into, John, over the years was that whole laser cutting thing. Yes. So now I'm taking that engineering background, right? And I'm applying it everything goes back to this stupid hobby, train, right? Electrical generator, blah, blah. We're into this laser cutting thing now too, which you've seen some of that stuff that we're doing. But yeah, just don't give up. Keep learning. Don't ever stop learning.
Yeah, that's true.
You see an opportunity, I don't know, maybe give it a shot. What do you got to lose?
Hmm.
Right?
It's true. That's great.
Yep.
Do you want to do some rapid fire questions?
Fire away. I can take it.
So what's one common myth that homeowners believe about standby generators?
Well, before I even sell a generator, I remind them kindly that owning a generator holds the same responsibility as owning a vehicle. They need maintenance. It's not a one-time thing. Here you go. They need maintenance once or twice a year. They really should be familiar with how to open the hood,
The basics.
know where the dipstick is, know where the oil
Mhm.
goes in. You
Yeah.
need to know some basic things.
Hmm.
So even in a generator, the batteries only last 3 years. The
Mhm.
generator won't start. It'd be a good idea if they knew how to like jumpstart something,
Hmm.
right? You gotta know all these little things. It's just like owning a lawnmower or a
You know these things,
pool, right?
Yeah, there are things you need to know on your own.
Yeah, like here's your pool, right? Oh, you got to put chlorine in it. I got to put what I got to do, right? I got to
Mhm.
empty the skimmer, right? You
Sure.
got to be able to do some basic things, until you could or you just say, hey, Rich or John, go empty the filter, go check the oil and make sure it's going to work. Or
Right.
yeah,
Right. Or
there's
Danielle, go check the oil
yeah,
on the
yeah,
generator.
yeah. I'll make sure you weren't there for your briefing.
I wasn't there.
Mhm.
You're gonna have to come back.
Yeah, I'll
I
come
need
back.
the briefing
We will.
because I don't know if you remember the briefing. Do you?
Yeah, I need to. You
I remember the briefing.
you guys are owed a visit.
Mm-hmm. All right. You have another one or no? Okay. What's the best advice a mentor has ever given you?
Um, the best advice was understand what you're doing. Don't you really got to know what you're doing. You got to understand it. If you don't understand it, don't be afraid to ask questions to anybody,
Mhm.
even the electrical inspector. You got to. I see kids on the job all the time, and
Yeah.
they ask me questions. I love it. I love it. I take the time out. I give them my cell phone. You ever have be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Take pride in what you do. If you did it, you got to own it. And I did that. I did it the right way.
Mhm.
So that's I think
Yeah.
that'll get
Nice.
somebody far today.
Yeah. It sounds like if anybody sees this and listens to it and they could reach out to us and I'll
Yeah.
be happy to give them your number. They could
Sure.
ask you a question.
And anytime. I'd
Awesome.
love to help anybody. I got the trade was great to me. I'm just trying to give back a little bit in any way I
Mhm.
can.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, are there any projects you're working on right now that you're excited about that you want to talk about?
Um, we're yeah. So we it's actually a sad story. Um,
Oh.
so we're doing a brand new strip mall in Succasunna, New Jersey,
Mhm.
and about a year ago, we applied to get power to the building, right? So every time we seem to get close to getting power, then something happens. Power company was there a couple of weeks ago, putting the pole in, and then the DOT came by and said you can't work near Route 10 until Route 80 is open.
Oh, the
So we
sinkhole.
have this building. I'm excited to see this project come
Mhm.
through, but now we're struggling to get the project done because of the sinkhole delays that they have on
Yeah.
Route 80 in our area. Um, that are just keep delaying the project. I really want to see
A
my
lot of
owner
those
get into
businesses
this.
shut down over there
Yeah,
Wow.
because
I
of
want to
that.
see this. I want to see this owner that invested all this great money into this building. I want to see that.
Yeah.
That's going to get me excited.
Yeah.
Any other projects that we have come up? Yeah, we have a bunch of generators on the horizon. We have a lot of nice additions. Um, no real new construction stuff going on. The only new construction stuff that we're seeing is, fire damage or water damage when it's a
Mhm.
complete gut. That's as close
Mm-hmm.
as we're getting to brand new construction.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, it's like been there, done that. Nothing really crazy. I wish I had to say I had some energy storage systems coming up, but I don't. I'd be excited to get involved in one of those projects. I do see them from the inspecting spectrum.
Yeah. And you got 3 big train layouts that you're working on.
Yeah, I have 3 big train layouts. Yeah, one of them is going to Livingston, New Jersey, which is local. One of them is going down to Orlando, and the other one's going to Washington State
Okay.
on the other side of the country. Yeah.
What's the furthest you ever put one away?
Well, I'm gonna have to say we've been as far as Santa Barbara, California.
Okay.
As far north as Marblehead, Mass. As far south as Miami, and as far east as Shelter Island. So
how do you get these train layouts to these places?
Well,
Careful.
most of the time we have a trailer that we have had designed. It's a race car trailer. It's extra high that has racking in it. So we'll rack it and tow it and bring it there. And then what I do is hire a movie company on the receiving end to help me unload. The one that's
did that getting over to California?
Yeah, I did. I towed it up and over the Rockies. It was a great trip. I had to do it. That was exciting.
Nice.
That was nice. We spent 2 or 3 weeks on the road. We got it done, and we've flown back and forth a couple times. But I like to drive. That's something I enjoy doing. So that's right up our alley. But this one that's going to go to Washington State, I'm probably going to have it. It's too big that I can't fit in our trailer. So I think I'm going to entertain having a cross-country hauler get it over there, and then we'll meet them on the receiving end, and I'll hire movers on the receiving end to help me set it up.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So what are your thoughts on the next chapter for your business?
Next chapter is to hand it off. I'd like somebody to take over and keep moving forward and take it to the level that maybe they'd like to see it grow to. I don't think my daughter has much of an interest in my electrical business or the train business. And the train business is the market is very limited with the model trains. Like, I have enough work for me in my lifetime to do it, but I don't know if this next generation is going to continue. I'm sure there'll be a demand, but it's not like it used to be.
Yeah.
When I started, I would get 2 or 3 calls a day. Now I get 2 or 3 calls a month.
Yeah.
So, and that's okay, because all the work that we do is all repeat customers. So
yeah, sure.
Yeah. I don't know what's next.
Okay.
Whatever comes my way and makes me happy, that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
That sounds good. So is there anything that we didn't ask you that you wanted to talk about today?
No, I mean, I didn't think that far ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's.
I was hoping you just hammer me with questions, and
that was the plan. Yeah.
Yeah, hammer me with questions, and I do the best I can to answer them. And I hope I did a decent job
very well, Rick.
relaying some information, and I hope we could help some folks out.
Yeah, that's and that's the plan. I appreciate you coming on my podcast and helping me out in a jam.
Anytime. I've always told you we've been talking about this for a long time, and
I know.
I'm just as happy to do it as you are. So we'll just have to figure out how to take what we did today and make it better and try doing it again.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
right.
Definitely.
Well, Rich, thanks very much for joining us today. We, enjoyed hearing your story, learning from your experience, and all of that.
Always my pleasure.
Thanks, Rich.
All right, guys. Have a good summer.
You too.
You too. Okay. And if you're a generator dealer looking to grow, check out generatormarketingsolutions.com. You'll find free resources, monthly webinars, and my book, Future Proof Your Generator Business, all designed to help you market smarter and scale faster. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share the show with someone in the industry. We release a new episode of Powering Success on the 11th of every month, so we will see you next time.
Thank you for listening to Powering Success, future-proofing your generator company. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. For more information or to connect with John, visit him online at www.generatorseo.com. If you found value in today's content, please share with others and leave us a rating and a review. Until next time, this has been Powering Success.